There's a silent epidemic in homeschooling right now, and it's called mediocrity. And the worst part, most moms don't even realize that they are in the middle of it. They call it freedom, flexibility, following their child's lead. But what it really is drifting. No structure, no mastery, no long term vision. Mediocrity is rampant in the homeschool world today because too many moms are confusing survival with success. They're overwhelmed, exhausted, constantly starting over, and they're calling that freedom. But homeschooling is not supposed to feel like you're barely keeping your head above water. It's supposed to feel like dominion, governance, legacy. That's what I teach, and that's what vocational homeschooling is all about. It's not a vibe, it's a lifestyle. It's a sacred calling to rule your home with clarity, conviction, and structure, to steward your child's mind and soul like it matters. And if that makes you bristle, if you're already feeling a little defensive, maybe this channel isn't for you yet. But if there's a part of you that is hungry for more, you're tired of trying every new homeschool planner, tired of watching your child fall behind, all while telling yourself that it's going to be fine, then stay, because I'm about to give you 12 harsh truths about homeschooling that literally no one wants to say out loud. But these just might be the wake-up call that you didn't even know that you needed. Okay, so let's do the black screen here, Shalise, with the white letters. Not me. Harsh truth number one, most moms think they're homeschooling, but they're just avoiding school. Unschooling with a daily devotional is not the same thing as governing your child's intellect. Now, listen, I have done all of these homeschool truths, so I'm not just up here on my pedestal preaching down to you. I remember a time vividly when I thought as long as we did Bible and a little bit of math every day, we were going to be just fine. Because after all, my child's spiritual health is the most important part, right? I was completely neglecting everything else and telling myself that it was all just fine. And I was actually doing a really good job. And that's when the realization hit me. Just doing the bare minimum and calling it homeschool is not okay. I needed to start actually directing learning in a whole new way. And that's when everything shifted. Harsh truth number two, your kids aren't behind because of the curriculum. They're behind because of you. So your curriculum is actually rarely the problem. The problem is consistency, and that starts with you. I am a firm believer that you really probably can use just about every curriculum, any curriculum that's out there. And if you do it consistently, your child will have a good education at the end of it. Are there some curriculums that are better than others? Absolutely. Are there some curriculums that are better for one child than another? Absolutely. However, if you were to just pick one curriculum at the beginning of your homeschool journey and do it day in and day out, no matter what, at the end of 12 years, your child would be well educated. So once I realized that I needed to stop curriculum hopping and blaming all of my troubles on curriculum, something shifted. Harsh truth number three, if your identity is quote unquote burnt out, your homeschool will follow. So if burnt out is who you believe that you are, you will unconsciously protect that by sabotaging progress. So again, I feel like I have used this excuse for so many years. I was the burnt out queen. I mean, I have 11 children after all. Some of them were one after the other with not much of a break. So, I felt very comfortable using the excuse that I was just burnt out. And so this gave me the permission that I needed to just continue in that no progress cycle. I had to stop asking what's wrong with me and start asking what do I need to change. Okay, harsh truth number four. If there's no plan, there's no progress. Going with the flow is not a method, it's a smokescreen. Okay, so I definitely have fallen into this trap. I told myself that, as long as we have a very loose routine, everything will get done. Well, we all know that that's not true. There's Murphy's Law. if something can happen, it will happen. And, if you have multiple children in the home, again, this is something that, it's unavoidable. So you really have to have more of a plan. You really cannot just go with the flow and, get done as much as you can. You really have to have a plan, and then you have to work that plan. Nowadays, I have a clear plan, we work the plan. When the plan is finished, the day is over. It works so much better. So remember, structure isn't the enemy of peace. It's actually the prerequisite of peace. Okay, harsh truth number 5. You are not a victim of chaos. You are the architect of your daily rhythm. So remember, disorder doesn't have to happen. It's something that we allow to happen. So this is probably something that all homeschool moms can relate to. Nobody has a pencil. This is something that we struggled with. And I mean, honestly, sometimes I still end up in the same situation. Nobody has a pencil, or even worse, nobody has an eraser. So we have a closet with a lock on it. It's a combination lock. And that is now where I store all of the school supplies. And because of the newest eraser disorder problem, I bought 3 packs of the little cap erasers that you just pop on the cap of the pencil and you're ready to go. So anytime you start rubbing up against some sort of disorder that is just throwing everything off, because I mean, really, you can't do school if you don't have a pencil, right? You can't do school if you don't have an eraser. Figure out a way to fix it instead of just wallowing in that problem. You can't wait for peace to show up. You have to build it. Okay, harsh truth number 6. Your kids will not take school seriously if you don't. Your kids are not going to rise to your intentions. They rise to your standards. Okay, so this was a problem that we were constantly having in our homeschool. I've mentioned before that I am not an early bird whatsoever. Like, it really takes me a while to get going in the morning. And if I'm not really, really intentional about getting up early, getting myself dressed, getting going, like keeping the flow going, I end up just sitting there drinking my coffee for like an hour. So the point is, I can't just expect my kids to be better at getting going in the morning than I am myself. I have to model the behavior that I want from them. So that means if I want my kids to get up and get going with their schoolwork in the morning, I have to get up and get going with the schoolwork in the morning. The moment that I stepped into that leadership, that was the moment that they stopped treating it like a joke. Okay, harsh truth number 7. You don't need more freedom, you need more follow through. We think that the answer is more flexibility, but the real solution here is more discipline. So back to those mornings. It is amazing how much better our whole homeschool day goes if I can just exercise that discipline and get going earlier in the day. It makes all of the difference in the world, and it's just one small act of discipline. Most of us don't need more options. We need more obedience to the mission. Harsh truth number 8. Being gentle doesn't mean being vague. If your child doesn't know what done right looks like, you're not being gentle, you're being unclear. Okay, so this was a big one for us when we started doing tests again. Prior to that, we had just, I would have the child read the passage in the book, answer the questions, but I wouldn't actually test their knowledge. This was being too vague. They were not rising to the challenge. They didn't even realize that this was something that they needed to try to remember and try and learn and internalize. So I was being too vague by not requiring that of them. And so as a result of that, they were, just rising to meet the standard that I had set. Clarity is kindness. Confusion is not. Harsh truth number 9. If you never reteach, you're not homeschooling, you're just assigning. So here's the thing. Mastery requires repetition. Assign and move on is the school thinking mentality. So the things that I really want to make sure that my children are remembering, I have to go over those day in and day out. We do recitation in our homeschool, and we do it every single morning. I don't just give them the new week's recitation and make sure that they memorize that and then never do it again. We're reviewing past week's recitation every single day. So I have a schedule by which we review all of the prior weeks. We're towards the end of our school year now, which means we actually spend a lot of time reviewing past week's recitation, but that's because I want it to stick. I want to make sure that they have it. Same thing with math facts. Same thing with state capitals, all of the things that you want to make sure that your children actually hold on to, you have to keep reviewing that. The fruit of homeschooling is really in the second pass, not just that first exposure. Harsh truth number 10. Homeschooling will expose your parenting gaps. Attitudes, disobedience, laziness, it all shows up in homeschool. Okay, so I know I've read a bunch of comments from you ladies who are saying, my kid has a bad attitude about this, my kid has a bad attitude about that. What do you do when? Ladies, this isn't a homeschool problem. This is actually a discipline problem. It's a parenting problem. These are issues, character issues that you need to parent your child over. Your child should not be back talking you. Your child should not be throwing a fit when you tell them to write out their spelling word 10 times. Your child should not be doing those things. So these are things that you're going to have to parent for. Homeschooling is just not going to magically turn your child into a child who doesn't sin. This is part of parenting. So if you are letting these things go, then you need to, go back to the beginning, read some solid parenting books. I'm not talking about gentle parenting here. And start working on that, because your day will go easier if your children respect you. You can't separate discipline from discipleship. Homeschooling is both. Your homeschool doesn't need more fun, it needs more leadership. Kids do not need a cruise director. They need a commander with a mission. Okay, so anytime that I have really tried to prioritize fun, everything has dissolved, or I should say devolved. Okay, so my kids would probably not describe me as the fun mom. I'm not really into arts and crafts. I do like to take them on field trips occasionally. This is always where things go off track. I say, let's try and get all of our school done early so we can go and do this. It never really works out. We have to prioritize the schoolwork. Field trips are really something in our family. They have to go on the weekends. We just can't pull it off during the week. So if you are recognizing this in your own homeschool, if arts and crafts are a big thing and they end up taking more time than actual schoolwork, it's just something that you might want to evaluate. Your homeschool should feel joyful, but it should also feel under command. Harsh truth number 12, life skills aren't a substitute for real academics. Yes, we want capable kids, but folding laundry does not teach fractions. This is something, I haven't seen it as much in recent years, but it might just be the people that I'm hanging out with. But I remember a time not too long ago when, there are moms saying that they teach their children math and fractions and things like that through cooking. And it's like, okay, sure. Like, you can explain how knowing fractions is important for cooking, but just cooking and putting 3/4 of a cup of sugar in your cookies, that is not math. It used to be a joke, oh, we did science today, we baked cookies, or, anything along that line. That's not real homeschooling. Like, you absolutely cannot count that as science or math or anything like that. Like, you need to do actual subjects. Life skills are complements to real learning, not replacements for it. So if any of those hit you hard, good, because truth has a way of exposing what's not working and pointing to what's next. If you know that your homeschool feels off, if you feel like you're winging it, second guessing it, and constantly wondering if you're doing enough, then I'd like to invite you to the Homeschool Rescue Plan. It's free. It's not a checklist. It's not a motivational speech. It's a step-by-step framework to get your homeschool running like you mean it. We'll fix the structure. We'll close the gaps. We'll make your homeschool work again without the burnout and without the chaos. You can go to the link in the description box to sign up. And if you want more bold truth, more clarity, and more leadership in your homeschool, subscribe, because I am not here to play nice with mediocrity. I'm here to overthrow it.